before his eagerly awaited bout with Jake Paul, Mike Tyson. The famous heavyweight champion is said to have sustained yet another injury in a shocking turn of events that has left the boxing community reeling. This unexpected development has raised doubts about Mike Tyson's ability to compete at the level that fans have come to expect from the legendary fighter. Tyson will likely throw his hands a little bit slower because he is older and won't be able to take punches, as well as a younger man.
For my life, I think the man is pushing 60 and he's got some medical problems and he was having a bit of a funny turn. Maybe he had a bit of food poisoning. Maybe he ate something in the first class lounge that didn't agree with him. Maybe it was some crusty old shrimp or something like that. So yeah, maybe he got some food poisoning or something like that. We just don't know. But what we do know is that he was carted off.
I still think Tyson has a chance to knock out Jake Paul in the first few rounds because he is still dangerous. We know that power is the last thing to go. But Jake Paul is still in the prime of his life, at 27 years old, and he is just picking fights to enhance his resume and look good. Citing individuals close to Tyson, the injury was acquired by the 58-year-old boxing legend during a strenuous training session. Although the form and extent of the injuries are yet unknown, preliminary reports indicate that Tyson's participation in the planned fight with Jake Paul may be in jeopardy. It's unfortunate that the injury is a hoax because both fighters have been stepping up their preparations for what is anticipated to be one of the most talked about boxing events of the year. Claiming to be a fighter, it's of H__ boasts about taking on Canelo and all these individuals, calling out proper fighters who are well over their pride fighting level. Before facing Ben Askren, a man who has never thrown a punch in his life, Anderson Silva had fought Tyron Woodley a long time ago, starting his career by knocking up a basketball player. Fair play beat Anderson Silva, but by the time they faced off, Silva was almost 50 years old as well. Now that he's heading in the opposite direction after losing to Tommy Fury, the one legitimate boxer he faced, the competition is growing older rather than getting younger. Meanwhile, British fighter Allo Jr. thinks Mike Tyson's fight with Jake Paul may be cancelled due to health concerns because Tyson is worried that Paul, who is 31 years younger than Tyson, will suffer a serious injury. TalkSport reported that Junior believes the fight might be stopped to avoid any issues.
Because he's older, he's not going to be able to take the shots like a younger man can. And Mike Tyson is going to go out there, and I still think he's got a potential to knock out Jake Paul. In that first couple of rounds, he's still going to be dangerous. We know the last thing to go is the power. But Jake Paul's in the prime of his life. He's 27 years old, and he's just cherry-picking another opponent to bolster his resume, to make him...
To be honest with you, I think he may get stopped. He is just too old. Your body has declined too much at that age. Junior said his boxing legacy will suffer if he is halted in such a manner by Jake Paul. I really wouldn't want to watch that. On August 18th, Tyson and Paul are expected to give an update on their upcoming showdown during a news conference. He was one of my idols, so who knows if the fight ever happens. Though concerns about Tyson's health are growing closer to the fight, Paul is entering the contest fresh off a knockout victory over Mike Perry. The 58-year-old is adamant about his decision to go forward, as this will be his first fight since their 2020 exhibition match, which ended in a draw. Roy Jones Jr. It seems that most people think Paul's youthful energy and strength will tilt the scales in his favor later in the year, but Tyson will be optimistic about his chances of ascending to the throne. The age gap has caused fans and experts to have serious concerns about Tyson's safety, which grew worse when the 58-year-old had to postpone the fight because of an ulcer flare-up. However, because of an ulcer flare-up, my doctor has advised me to reduce my training for a few weeks in order to rest and recuperate. Despite this, my body is in better overall shape than.
It's a sham. It's utter fucking horse shit. Claims to be a fighter, talks about fighting Canelo and all these people and calling out proper fighters that are way past their prime, fighting Anderson Silva, fighting Tyron Woodley when the fight had left him a long time before, fighting Ben Askren, a man that's never thrown a punch in his life, started his career beating up a basketballer, okay? Fair play, he beat Anderson Silva, but Anderson Silva was almost 50 as well by the time that they fought. And now he's going the other way because he lost to Tommy Fury, the one proper boxer that he fought. He lost. So instead of the years of the challengers coming down, instead of the competition getting a bit younger and actually being boxers, they're getting older.
It has been since the 1990s, so I will soon resume my full training schedule. Tyson thanked his fans worldwide for their support and understanding during this time. UFC fighter Michael Chandler admits that nobody wants to see Jake Paul defeat Mike Tyson. Chandler is concerned that if the social media star wins another championship by stoppage, the supporters would lose faith in the game. He stated that Jake Paul had gone up against Mike Perry, whom he was about 20 pounds heavier and 4 inches taller than. He continued, saying, "I love Mike Tyson. Nobody wants to see Mike Tyson get knocked out, but everybody wants to see Mike Tyson catch Jake Paul and knock him out, so I mean, you're going to watch it. I'm going to watch it. It's great for fun, not taking boxing seriously if you will fight night, and I'll probably watch it." Early in his career, Tyron Woodley and Ben Askren, 2 former UFC fighters, were defeated by Paul, and Chandler hinted that he might take revenge on his fellow mixed martial artists. Although I was excited to watch both of them, it was unfortunate that they lost. However, Jake Paul was well aware of the age, size, and skill level of the opponents he was selecting for these bouts. Chandler continued, "It's been said by a lot of people that there's only one more Mizzou Tiger left for Jake Paul to defeat, and since I'm the smallest of them all, I'm sure he would love to fight a guy who outweighs by 30 lb. Meanwhile, Mike Tyson gave a stunning update on his fight with Jake Paul, hinting at yet another potential health setback after a previous ulcer flare-up forced the fight to be postponed. Tyson returned to training with newfound resolve, but it seems that things are still looking bad. "The other day I saw a picture of you in a wheelchair. What was that all about?" "Oh, I have sciatica. Every now and then it flares up, and when it flares up I can't even talk," Chandler said.
If Mike Tyson hits anybody, don't care if he's 90, he's going to knock him out cold, isn't he? It's I am Mike Tyson. Obviously, I have to back Mike Tyson. I'm named after the legend, and I back him. As he always backs me, I'm backing Mike for the knockout. Come on!
Fury remains steadfast in his conviction that the former champion can prevail. In a video that MMA recently uncovered, Reed Fury passionately declared that Tyson's knockout power is indisputable when he throws a blow, proving his unwavering allegiance. Fury reaffirmed his undying support for Tyson in his upcoming matchup with Paul, emphasizing that the boxing legend's name forces him to back Tyson completely. Fury also said that Tyson has always been a source of encouragement for him, and as a result, he totally supports Mike's desire for a clear knockout triumph. Hey, who cares if Mike Tyson is 90 years old? He's going to take him out cold, isn't he? Since I'm Mike Tyson, I must back Mike Tyson is the legend after whom I was named, and I support him because he has always supported me. The knockout, come on, Mike. The fight has left many in the boxing community concerned for Tyson's safety, but Paul isn't afraid to take on the 58-year-old after Perry defeated him, saying he's tough as nails. "I apologize for the delay in responding, but Mike Perry is the king of violence and the BKFC champion. I hit him too hard and he took a lot of damage, so that's a W for me. However, I did put him down in the first round. The contract was signed by your next big boy, Mike Tyson." In an interview with Fight Hub TV, Paul expressed his utter respect for Mike Tyson, calling him a towering figure in boxing and putting him in the same legendary league as Ali. He also expressed the extraordinary privilege he felt at the thought of facing Tyson in the ring, but he also voiced his unwavering desire to take the title from him. The former undisputed heavyweight champion Vladimir Klitschko shared his thoughts on the much-awaited fight between Mike Tyson and Jake Paul. Klitschko hailed the fight as extraordinary, highlighting the striking contrast between.
Today I saw a picture of you. You were in a wheelchair. What was that all about?
Oh, I have sciatica every now and then. It flares up, and when it flares up,
Tyson, a respected boxing veteran, and Paul, a younger, ambitious YouTuber who has proven to be a formidable opponent. He expressed his excitement about seeing how the fight will unfold and saw Tyson as a major source of inspiration for others in his own generation as well. Mike Tyson at the age of 58, what do you think of this fight? Well, it's excellent because Mike Tyson at his age is going up against a YouTuber who is much younger, hungry and skilled at boxing, so it will serve as a good example for others who are Mike's age. I'm looking forward to that match as well. He's heard rumors that Tyson's age was a barrier that many thought would prevent him from pursuing his career, but Klitschko refuted this idea, saying that age is merely a mental construct, that one self-imposed obstacle that can be surmounted via mental mastery. Klitschko urged everyone to see age as merely a mental barrier and to never give up, no matter how much time has gone, given that it was being suggested that Mike Tyson would be too old for Jake Paul. How do you think that fight plays out? I've been asked about my last dance, but first, as you mentioned, Jake Paul comes from a YouTube background.
Mike Tyson at 58 years old, what do you think of this fight?
Well, that's also outstanding as this fight in Riyadh. Mike Tyson at his age is facing a YouTuber that is much younger and hungry and capable of boxing as well. So it's going to be a good example for people that are at Mike's age.
Yeah.
It's also actually a good example for me to keep on punching, so to speak, and hopefully, and I look forward to.
Do you think he's too old? Do you think Michael is still at the knockout? You can only be too old in your mind. Wow, that's great advice. Secondly, as you mentioned, Mike Tyson's continued fighting might serve as a bit of a lesson for you. Is there any chance of a comeback in the sport, given how many people are returning? Well, there is no comeback in the sport. Now that Anthony Taylor, a boxer who has already battled Jake Paul, is set to take on the renowned Iron Mike Tyson, concerns regarding Tyson's health are beginning to build before their fight. Echoing the wise choice KSI made to protect his health, Taylor is advising Tyson to back off, saying that Mike Tyson is a lamb to the slaughter and that he should follow KSI to avoid suffering a concussion versus Jake Paul. Mike Tyson ought to learn from KSI's example and end his feud with Jake Paul. You haven't seen what Jake is capable of. Trust me, I've worked with him behind the scenes in the interim. Tyson is a lamb to a slaughterhouse. 2 years ago, Tyson participated in an exhibition battle against Roy Jones Jr. Before then, he had been absent from professional boxing for 20 years. Alexander UK, the heavyweight champion who is currently unbeaten and has recently announced his retirement from the sport. Talked about the impending fight with seconds remaining, he seems unconcerned about the outcome and sees it more as a show than a competitive match. Tyson is the most well-known person in the world, and Jake Paul is a young boxer who wants to support other young people.
A lot is being made that, Mike Tyson might be too old for Jake Paul. Obviously, like you mentioned, Jake Paul's coming from a YouTube background. Do you think he's too old? Do you think Mike will still get the knockout?
You can only be too old in your mind.
Yeah.
If you control your mind, you control everything in your life.
Wow, that's great advice. And just final one for me, like you said, Mike Tyson still fighting might be a little bit of a lesson to you as well. Is there any potential of a comeback with a lot of people coming back?
There is no comeback in the sport.
Yeah.
I've been asked about.
However, it's a big show, so if people want to see it, that's fine with me. I'll listen to you. The world of boxing is elevated buzz about the impending fight between Ironman contenders Mike Tyson and Jake Paul as Mike prepares for his rearranged fight in November versus the YouTuber who turned fighter. A well-known UK fitness expert has voiced concerns about the 58-year-old concerns about Mike Tyson's readiness for his much-anticipated comeback, amounting after an ulcer flare-up forced a change in the fighter's schedule. Fitness guru Dave Hancock told OBG that, from the outside, Tyson's comeback appears to be motivated solely by money. If someone offers you X to perform Y, you have the freedom to choose whether or not to accept it at any age, so the incentive is cash. Hancock forewarned Mike. He stressed that Tyson's age has had a toll on his reflexes and response speed, and that his physical conditioning is no longer at its prime. He stated that there might be cardiothoracic difficulties. Tyson, that despite the appealing financial benefits, the potential medical dangers were far from trivial. Respiratory problems, a variety of problems that you've inherited as you've aged, and despite the warnings, Hancock, using his background with Chelsea, believes that Tyson's decision appears to be motivated by uncontrollable financial temptations. You're not living the same way as you did when you were training, but in the end, he said, money talks always comes back to the same situations involving football players traveling for preseason and postseason play because there is so much money at stake. This also applies to individual athletes who might receive a payday for a one-time matchup with a YouTuber. A £10 million offer is difficult to turn down, according to Hancock, who also underlined that, in the proper hands, 99% of people would find it nearly impossible to turn down such a great offer. In addition, Hancock emphasized how individual financial difficulties.
Because he's older, he's not going to be able to take the shots like a younger man can. And Mike Tyson is going to go out there, and I still think he's got a potential to knock out Jake Paul. In that first couple of rounds, he's still going to be dangerous. We know the last thing to go is the power. But Jake Paul's in the prime of his life. He's 27 years old, and he's just cherry-picking another opponent to bolster his resume, to make him...
Such as Mike Tyson's prior bankruptcy, might heighten the appeal of a significant financial windfall given Tyson's prior financial difficulties. He reasoned that this could potentially lead to further financial difficulties down the road. Suddenly, after dashing on the red carpet and mixing with Hollywood's elite in California, he might be doing something in his 50s and making more money than he did in his 20s. After closely observing Crawford's close victory over Madoff, Mike Tyson seemed to have allayed some concerns about the fight's new date. Tyson is now getting ready to resume his intense boxing preparation and is scheduled to begin his battle. Soon after arriving at camp, Tyson fully engaged himself in the thrilling atmosphere of the evening as Terence Crawford defeated Israel with remarkable ease and charm. With ease, Tyson commanded attention on the red carpet, posing for pictures and mingling with a wide range of celebrities, such as Vince Vaughn and Scottie Pippen. Promoter Eddie Hearn, sports emerging talent Turkey Alik, and Tyson were seated ringside during an exclusive interview with Bloody Elbow radio host Big Boy. Big Boy, whose real name is Kurt Alexander, suggested that Tyson might be getting ready for a comeback sooner than anticipated.
It's a sham. It's utter fucking horseshit. Claims to be a fighter, talks about fighting Canelo and all these people and calling out proper fighters that are way past their prime, fighting Anderson Silva, fighting Tyron Woodley when the fight had left him a long time before, fighting Ben Askren, a man that's never thrown a punch in his life, started his career beating up a basketballer, okay? Fair play, he beat Anderson Silva, but Anderson Silva was almost 50 as well by the time that they fought. And now he's going the other way because he lost to Tommy Fury, the one proper boxer that he fought. He lost. So instead of the years of the challengers coming down, instead of the competition getting a bit younger and actually being boxers, they're getting older.
Possibly even before November. Big Boy said of Tyson, "I think he's always ready to fight. He was ready to fight tonight. Hell, yeah, I would go watch Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson. It's one of the Jake fights I would go to. I love Jake. He was so good with my family." I would never say anything bad about that brother after his fight with Paul. When questioned on the red carpet by reporters covering the Riyadh season, Tyson remained silent, only stating, "You'll have to wait and see. You don't have long to wait," in an interview with USA Today last month. Tyson's agent Andrew Ruff stated that he will soon begin Zoom training and that everything is on track. Following his controversial narrow victory over BKFC fighter Mike Perry in a last-minute match last month, Tyson declared that this fight would serve as Jake's wake-up call, stressing that time is running out. Tyson also posted a video on social media of himself glued to the TV watching Paul in action. Despite saying nothing in the video, Tyson seized the chance given by a recently discovered video demonstrating his incredible blindfolded move. Jake Paul was unnerved by the disturbing video, and Tyson took advantage of the situation by utilizing it to throw a breathtaking master punch from the comfort of his armchair. His virtual attack was as precise as a liver shot, making Jake Paul feel even more uneasy. The message from Tyson was quite clear: if someone is brave enough to take on him, he will not spare them. Excitement is building for the impending clash due to the competitors' striking age difference of 58 years old, as well as the return of youngster Dynamite, the legendary heavyweight fighter. At the press conference, Tyson will take on 27-year-old Jake Paul, a once controversial YouTuber who has developed into a formidable boxer who gets better with each fight. As usual, Tyson responded brusquely when asked about people's concerns with the age gap, saying, "I don't see too many people critical about it. Look at this crowd. Tell me who has been critical. Name someone. Imagine me losing against Jake Paul. It's not what I see." And when Deontay Wilder expressed his anxiety about the fight, he told Esquire, "He's not who I am. So let Mike get hurt. And don't worry about paying my expenses. Everyone believes this is absurd. But since he's so old and not who I am, he can't travel to Mongolia and expect someone to recognize him."
For my life, I think the man is pushing 60 and he's got some medical problems and he was having a bit of a funny turn. Maybe he had a bit of food poisoning. Maybe he ate something in the first class lounge that didn't agree with him. Maybe it was some crusty old shrimp or something like that. So yeah, maybe he got some food poisoning or something like that. We just don't know. But what we do know is that he was carted off of.
Nevertheless, a new training video appears to show Mike Tyson working hard to get ready for his upcoming fight with Jake Paul at the age of 58, with an outstanding record of 50 wins, 6 losses, and 44 knockouts. Tyson, once the undisputed heavyweight champion, maintains an amazing quickness. In fact, his hand speed surpasses that of renowned world champions like Devin Haney, Devin Davis, and Terence Crawford. How does an established legend like Mike Tyson continue to possess hand speed so exceptional that even the best athletes of today struggle to match it? As Tyson approaches his 60th birthday, the prospect of him going back into the ring to take on a formidable opponent seems unattainable for many of today's heavyweight champions due to his unmatched combination of force and speed. There are a lot of risks associated with cruiserweights like Jake Paul. See Tyson in action in this recently released training video. despite the doubts of conventional boxing fans, even as he ages and struggles with periods of reduced activity. Jake Paul's impressive punching power, especially with his potent right hand, demands attention. His talent for delivering precise knockout blows is evident as he has defeated opponents in both the cruiserweight and heavyweight divisions. Throughout his career, Mike Tyson has struggled with endurance and chin reliability. His weaknesses in both areas were painfully exposed in defeats to fighters like Kevin McBride. Danny Williams between James Buster and Evander Holyfield Douglas. Let's talk about Tyson's training schedule right now and how he's handling these persistent issues should Iron Mike with Tyson's victory over Jake Paul. A lucrative showdown with a retired boxing icon and other possible challengers from the YouTube universe might be on the horizon, opening up exciting new opportunities for Tyson's boxing career.
Mike Tyson. That fight just got announced. Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson.
They're going to fight, huh?
Yeah, they're gonna fight. Do you think Jake Paul can beat Mike Tyson?
I don't think so.
Tyson talked about how excited he was about the fight, full of anticipation for his bout with Jake Paul. He mentioned the impressive progress Paul has made in his boxing career, emphasizing the fascinating contrast between the unwavering drive of a rising star and the refined mastery of an experienced boxing icon. Tyson stated, "I'm really excited to go into the ring with Jake Paul. He's improved a lot as a boxer over the years, so it will be a lot of fun to see what a kid's will and ambition can accomplish with a GOAT's experience and aptitude." In a recent interview, Jake Paul discussed his impending fight with Iron Mike and expressed his strong desire to dethrone the boxing legend. While thinking back on his career in his second professional fight, Jake remembered his breakthrough victory over Nate Robinson, which was part of the undercard for a Tyson bout. Now, less than 4 years later, Jake is getting ready to take on Tyson. Driven by the excitement of taking on one of the greatest fighters in sports history, Paul declared that Iron Mike should be put to rest. "It's incredible to consider that less than 4 years after I went viral in my second professional fight by stopping Nate Robinson on Mike Tyson's undercard. I'm going up against Tyson to see if I have what."
Today I saw a picture of you. You were in a wheelchair. What was that all about?
Oh, I have sciatica every now and then. It flares up, and when it flares up,
It takes to defeat one of the most infamous fighters and biggest icons in boxing with his sights set on becoming a world champion. Paul revealed that his goals go far beyond this fight. He described his fight with Tyson as a rare once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to test himself against one of the most iconic heavyweight champions in history. "My sights are set on becoming a world champion, and now I have a chance to prove myself against the greatest heavyweight champion ever, the baddest man on the planet, and the most dangerous boxer of all time. This will be the fight of a lifetime," Paul said. The upcoming fight between Jake LaMotte and Mike Tyson Paul has sparked a flurry of differing viewpoints from boxing enthusiasts and specialists. While some believe that Tyson, who is past his prime, will easily defeat the social media sensation, others argue that he will find it difficult to make a comeback in an unexpected turn of events. A reporter took advantage of an opportunity to speak with Manny during an interview with Fight Hub. Paco's analysis of Tyson: once the reporter confirmed the news, Paul outstripped himself and asked the reporter if he thought Paul had any chance against Mike Tyson. After a contemplative moment, Paco gave a direct response, saying he didn't think Paul stood a chance. What do you think of Jake versus Mike Tyson? That fight just got announced. There will be a fight between Jake Paul and Mike Tyson. Do you believe Jake Paul can prevail against Mike Tyson? The baddest man on the planet stated at the last Tyson-Paul press conference that he started Jake off and I'm going to finish him in 2020. I don't think so. Despite the notable presence of such high-profile figures, social media buzz about the press event has been lackluster. This is likely the reason why fight fans aren't as excited about Tyson and Paul's powerhouse combination. For many who may not know, Paul made his professional debut following his fight with Mike Tyson on the undercard of the Mike Tyson vs. Roy Jones Jaw exhibition.
Mike Tyson at 58 years old. What do you think of this fight?
Well, that's also outstanding as this fight in Riyadh. Mike Tyson at his age is facing a YouTuber that is much younger and hungry and capable of boxing as well. So it's going to be a good example for people that are at Mike's age.
Yeah.
It's also actually a good example for me to keep on punching, so to speak, and hopefully, and I look forward to.
Jake Paul, an American boxer who switched from YouTube to professional boxing, has made the bold decision to reveal that he has no plans to retire just yet, despite having a match against Tyson scheduled for November. Paul is already looking forward to taking another significant step forward in his career at 27 years old. He hopes to win gold at the Olympics in 2028.
A lot is being made that, you know, Mike Tyson might be too old for Jake Paul. Obviously, like you mentioned, Jake Paul's coming from a YouTube background. Do you think he's too old? Do you think Mike will still get the knockout?
You can only be too old in your mind.
Yeah.
If you control your mind, you control everything in your life.
Wow, that's great advice. And just final one for me, like you said, you know, Mike Tyson still fighting might be a little bit of a lesson to you as well. Is there any potential of a comeback you know, with a lot of people coming back?
There is no comeback in the sport.
Yeah.
I've been asked about.
Paul expressed his frustration on his podcast with girlfriend Yuda Liam, saying he's fed up with Team USA not taking home a gold medal. Paul declared, "I'm going to compete in boxing at the 2028 Summer Olympics in Los Angeles. I'm tired of waiting around for Team USA to win another gold." If you liked this video, be sure to watch some of our others that are displayed on the screen.